Peter Dutton speaking about China. This is really good.
I just think if you look at the response of Richard Marles, even in the last 24 hours, he's obviously gone to ground, understandably. He's not going to want to be facing the cameras after what's been a shocking few days. But this is the man who would be the Deputy Prime Minister and potentially the Defence Minister in an Albanese government. When you talk about border protection or you talk about defences of our country, they just don't have the culture within their party, the ability to make tough decisions when they need to be made and to stand up for our country.
Okay.
They're backing China over the United States, and that is a shocking mistake.
So he's referring there to the fact that Richard Marles has now been revealed, James, was busy cozying up to China. Tell us about it.
Well, and here the really important thing for viewers to know is this. In an Albanese government, the deputy leader has the right to choose what portfolio he wants. Everybody is saying that what Richard Marles wants is defence. Now, that should terrify people, because what came out this week is that Richard Marles gave a speech to China, which he had vetted with the Chinese embassy, and that he has also said about the Solomons and other Pacific islands that, Australia really can't do anything to prevent China from coming in and doing things with these islands. And in fact, actually, because the Pacific needs development, there's no problem with China coming in and providing their model of development along with Australia. And so, who cares? It's all fine. And so this is the attitude of somebody who is potentially the next Defence Minister of Australia.
And he also wrote, not too long ago, we're talking about it in a publication that came out last August, that basing our actions in the Pacific on an attempt to strategically deny China would be a historic mistake.
Exactly.
I mean, what planet are these people on? They're trying to
No wonder he's tongue-tied. No wonder he can't speak. Whatever he says, he puts his foot in it. What a joke. But here's another Labor one. I mean, this election has exposed the absolute lack of any intellectual rigour within the Labor Party, the Australian Labor Party. Have a look at this person. I've never heard of her before. We'll never hear of her again after this election. So here's her 30 seconds of fame. She's the Shadow Agriculture Minister, Julie Collins. Have a listen to this.
Last election, Labor had a policy of phasing out live sheep exports. Will you do that? Are you committing to that?
Well, we're going to be making an announcement about a broader animal welfare policy later on in the campaign.
Just a quick question following up from the ag visa. No commitment from Labor to keeping or scrapping it today?
In terms of the agriculture visa, Labor will be putting out policies further into the campaign.
You've said now that you won't reveal whether Labor will support or carry on with an ag visa, but this visa was announced almost a year ago. Why is it taking so long for Labor to come up with a position on it?
The main priorities that I'm hearing from farmers, their biggest concern is around climate change.
Collins Krishani was asking why it's taking Labor so long to say whether or not she will support the ag visa.
Labor will be making announcements in relation to visas later on in the campaign.
Okay.
So we'll be doing that later on in the campaign.
Obviously an immediate problem though. Does Labor then have an alternative policy that if you were to win government, you would immediately be able to action?
I'm very proud of Labor's policies to date, and I'm very proud of the policies that I've been working on with my colleague Christina Keneally in relation to visas.
That question about why it's taking Labor so long to declare its position on the ag visa.
And I'm very proud of the policies Labor's putting forward, and I think that the farmers will be very proud of it, and we'll have more to say well before polling day with detail about what our solution is.
Okay, here's the thing. Every single farmer in Australia, every single person who works the land should look at Labor with absolute horror. We learned two things in 1 minute from this Julie Collins, whoever she is. Two things. One, climate change. Two, Christina Keneally. Those four words enough should fill you with horror. The agricultural sector in Australia will be decimated under Labor, and you just heard it then, James.
Well, I'll have more to say about her speech before the election with plenty of time.
But you don't dismiss her as if she's some sort of a nobody. She is
She could be a minister.
Yeah,
I
She
know.
would be a minister in a Labor government, and one with a key portfolio. So that performance was cringeworthy, was embarrassing, but that's not going to stop her from failing up like we've seen Christina Keneally.